Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're going to take a look at the CS-LR4 bolt-action rifle. The CS-LR4 is a Chinese-made bolt-action rifle which is the first weapon in the Recon unlock tree, and therefore the first sniper rifle new BF4 players are able to get their hands on. Like a lot of the starting weapons, until recently the CS-LR4 was pretty terrible, and it's safe to say that many players were glad to be rid of the gun as soon as they'd unlocked some better ones. Pre-patch, the CS-LR4 was so inferior because it really didn't have any advantage over any of the other bolt actions. Like the G90, in the recent fall patch, DICE have finally come to the rescue though, and have given the CS-LR4 a significant buff to its muzzle velocity. This has definitely made it a better sniper rifle, but has it been enough to make it a truly great weapon? Well, let's take a look at its stats and see how this gun works. The CS-LR4 fires at a fairly slow 46 RPM and deals 100 damage out to 12.5 meters, which drops off to its minimum damage of 59 at 100 meters. This means that it deals the same damage as medium damage bolt actions like the L96 and the M40, but it only fires a little bit faster than the hard-hitting bolt actions like the SRR61 and the M98B. Now obviously, bearing in mind only these two stats, the CS-LR4 doesn't have a lot going on for it, so you'd think that its other stats would balance these out. Well, the problem is that prior to the fall patch, it really didn't have anything to balance these out. In fact, it also had a terrible muzzle velocity of only 500 meters per second. This basically meant that it was outclassed by pretty much every other bolt-action rifle, and as soon as the goal came along in second assault, there was pretty much no reason whatsoever to use the CS-LR4. Fortunately, in the fall patch, DICE have finally given this gun the attention it badly needed by buffing its muzzle velocity to a very nice 630 meters per second. This isn't quite as fast as the M98B or the G90, but it's definitely faster than just about everything else, and this has made it a lot easier to compensate for bullet drop and lead. Now, as for the rest of the CS-LR4 stats, well, nothing much else has really changed. It still has a standard 11 round capacity, standard recoil and accuracy stats, and a fairly decent reload time. So bearing all of this in mind, is the CS-LR4 worth using now? Well, if you're a new player, you can't really avoid using it, but at least now you don't have to struggle with it until you unlock something better. For veteran players, it's definitely worth going back to now, but I wouldn't say that the CS-LR4 is the best bolt action in the game. Probably the best thing about this rifle post-patch though is that it now fills its own unique role rather than being an inferior alternative to something else. It doesn't have the damage model to match the M98B or the rate of fire to match the M40, but its muzzle velocity will help to stretch out to longer ranges, and its slightly faster rate of fire will help with landing follow-up shots in close quarters. This makes the CS-LR4 a better all-round weapon than either of these other guns, and in Battlefield 4, a versatile weapon is often far more useful than a specialised one. So is it the best all-round bolt action now? Well, that depends on what you consider the best. The Gold Magnum is still pretty good, and the L96 isn't too bad either, but both of these guns favour rate of fire over the faster muzzle velocity of the CS-LR4. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to your personal playstyle, but if you prefer a slower, more accurate bolt action, then the CS-LR4 could definitely work a lot better for you. I personally prefer this rifle over the Gold or the L96, but that's just my opinion, and obviously you may have a completely different playstyle to me. My advice would be give this one a go now that it's been buffed, and you never know, you might just be as surprised as I was. But anyway, to finish up this video, what attachments would I recommend for the CS-LR4? Well, the default scope for this weapon is the Chinese 6x scope, which actually isn't a bad scope. It doesn't really have very accurate mil dots, but at shorter ranges this won't matter so much because bullet drop won't be a huge issue. If you do prefer to reach out a bit longer, you could try the US 8x scope instead, but just bear in mind that this is a battle pack item and might take quite some time to unlock. In either case, as always, I'd also recommend running with a 14x zoom to help out with longer range targets, and the straight pull bolt to help out with follow-up shots. But anyway, that just about wraps up this review. So is this a gun that you'll be revisiting, or do you think DICE have done too little too late? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and as always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. If you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below, and until next time, see you later and have a good one.